Hey everyone, I think pretty much everyone knows Subway Surfers, the mobile game that came out back in 2012. You know, you run away from a car, collect some coins, dodge obstacles, and do all of that in this bright, cartoony style. But what would happen if I tried to recreate it using a modern engine like Unreal Engine 5? What if I added beautiful shadows, fog, nighttime, realistic lighting? Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. In this video, I'm going to try to make Subway Surfers in Unreal Engine 5 in just 1 week, but a darker and more beautiful version of it. Obviously, the game is going to have way fewer features, because just imagine how much time an entire team of developers spent creating the original game. And here I am, working alone trying to build at least the main mechanics in only 1 week. Yes, I always try to give myself deadlines, for the video and for you, the viewers. Enjoy the video and enjoy your meal if you are eating right now. Let's go! I started with a standard third-person template in Unreal Engine. It already comes with a character, a camera, jumping and some basic animations. Of course, I could have built everything completely from scratch, but then the first 2 days of this video would have been me trying to make a mannequin move its legs properly. So instead, I created a separate character for the runner, made a test map, and started reworking the controls. In Subway Surfers, the player doesn't press a button to move forward, the character runs automatically and all you have to do is switch lanes, jump and slide. So the first thing I added was automatic running. I press play and the character actually runs forward. For now it's just running across a plain grey floor and straight into the void, but technically it's already a runner, a very low budget runner. Next I needed to add 3 lanes, left, center and right. Now the character quickly moves left or right while slightly turning in the direction he is moving. I also had to limit the outer positions, because without those limits you could keep pressing left, leave the railway completely and go explore the empty level. The default camera was way too close to the character. For a normal game that will be fine, but here the player needs to see obstacles in advance, especially when the obstacle weighs several hundred tons and is moving directly toward you. So I moved the camera further back, raised it higher and angled it slightly downward. After that I could see much more of the track ahead. But whenever the character ran under a low object, the camera collided with it and suddenly zoomed right up to his head. I disabled the unnecessary camera collisions and the view finally became stable. Now I just had to make sure the track didn't end after a few seconds. I was going to build several kilometers of railway by hand. Subway Surfers is an endless runner, so the level has to keep extending in front of the player. I split the map into separate sections called tiles. When the character passes one section, it moves from behind the player to the front and gets reused. So technically, the player is constantly running across the same few pieces of track. They just keep switching places and pretending to be new. Of course, it didn't work on the first try. One of the tiles decided to disappear right from under the character and then fell straight into the void. After checking the position and making a few fixes, the sections finally start moving forward properly. Now I could run for as long as I wanted, across a completely empty railway. The next step was adding obstacles. I started with a simple large block. It completely blocks one lane, so the player has to move out of the way in time. I also didn't want to constantly spawn and destroy obstacles. They already exist inside each tile, but most of the time they stay hidden. Whenever a section of the track moves forward, it selects a random object and activates it. At this stage, only one obstacle could appear on each tile. For example, a block on the left, or in the center, or on the right. That made it easier to test the basic mechanics first. If the character hits an active obstacle, the run ends and the game over screen appears. So technically, the game was already playable. You run forward, you see a cube, you press A or D, too slow, you start again. This was Subway Surfers before it got a budget. After the basic block, I added 2 more types of obstacles. The first one has to be jumped over, the second one requires the player to slide underneath it. Then I added the actual sliding mechanic. At this stage there was no proper animation yet. When I pressed the button, the character simply became shorter so he could pass under the obstacle, and after a moment he returned to his normal height. It didn't look particularly impressive yet. He would just suddenly crash down and keep moving forward. But mechanically, everything worked. I decided to add the proper animation later, and that decision would come back to haunt me near the end of the video. By this point, the player already had several different ways to die, but there was still no real reason to take any risks. You could simply choose the clearest lane and keep running safely. So I added coins. They spin, disappear when collected, and increase the score counter. Now there was an actual decision to make. You could choose the safe path, or you could see a line of coins, realize there is an obstacle ahead, and switch into that lane anyway. Because coins. After adding the coins, I started working on the interface. I added the number of collected coins, the distance traveled, and the total score. I also created a start menu. Until the player presses the start button, the character stays in place. Once the game starts, the menu disappears, the round begins, and the score starts counting. When the player hits an obstacle, the game over screen appears. It shows the distance traveled, the coins collected, and the final score. From there, you can restart the game and try once again to prove that your previous death was entirely the control's fault. In the original game, a guard chased the character, so I added a second character behind the player. In the first version, he just stood there, the most effective security guard imaginable. After that, I added the actual chase, but whenever the track turned, the guard started falling behind and eventually disappeared from the camera completely. So I changed his movement to make him stay at a constant distance behind the player and follow the direction of the track. It's not exactly advanced artificial intelligence, but from the camera's perspective, it looks like the guard is constantly chasing you from behind. And honestly, that's all he needed to do. Now it was time for the main obstacle: trains. First, I made one move toward the player, or at least, I thought it was moving toward the player. In reality, the train confidently drove away from me. After reversing the direction, the train finally started moving correctly. But then I discovered that it would sometimes spawn too high, appear beside the tracks, or even depends on the player's position. If the character jumped at the exact moment the train was launched, the entire train could spawn slightly higher too. Makes sense. The player moved 1 meter upward, so obviously the train had to follow him. I rebuilt the entire launch system. After that, the train finally starts spawning far ahead, moving toward the player, passing by, and returning to its starting point so it could be reused. At that point, I was still using a very simple test shape instead of a proper train model, but the mechanic was already working. By this point, the main mechanics were already working, but visually, the game still looked like a test level made of grey cubes, so I decided to completely change the atmosphere. The original subway surfaces were bright and cartoony, but I wanted to create a darker version. First, I started making the scene darker, but then I still looked way too bright. It was as if the sun had disappeared but forgotten to turn off the lights. After a few attempts, I finally managed to bring the image back and create a proper nighttime scene where the track was still visible. Next came the fog. At first, it was barely noticeable. Distant objects were still completely visible, and the effect itself seemed to stay somewhere far ahead of the character, almost as if it was constantly running away from him. I kept changing the settings, placed a test cube at the distance, and tried to understand why it was still perfectly visible. Eventually, I increased one of the parameters all the way to 20, and suddenly the fog was everywhere. It became thick, volumetric, and actually felt alive. And the fog isn't here just to make the game look better. It also hides the moment when the track sections are repositioned and the trains appear ahead. The player can only see the nearest rails, a few lights, and the silhouette of an object slowly emerging from the darkness. So I decided not to touch that value ever again. After the fog, I added rain. At first, the raindrops looked like flat pieces of garbage. Some were facing downward, some were turned sideways, and a few looked like they were trying to fly back into the sky. I fixed the particle direction and changed their size. After that, the rain finally started looking like actual rain. Only after the main atmosphere was already in place did I start gradually replacing the test objects with proper 3D models. My brother created the train, the passenger car, the rails, sleepers, gravel, and several obstacles. Before that, most of the level was made from basic cubes. They're perfect for testing mechanics, but not exactly ideal for the final shots of a video. First, I replaced the track. I added the rails, sleepers, and the gravel base underneath them. And after that, I replaced the test train with a proper model and attached the passenger cars. I also added a real obstacle to jump over and the structure the player has to slide underneath. Each model had to be checked separately: its size, position, rotation, and collision. Because a model can look perfect in Blender, but after importing it, it might be twice the size of the character, face the wrong direction, and have its pivot point somewhere underground. I also had to fix the platform material. The texture was heavily stretched across the long surface, so I added separate island controls for both directions. After that, the level finally started to look like a real railway tunnel instead of a prototype made from default cubes. After adding the models, I started working on the local lighting. I added the roof-mounted spotlight and front headlights to the train. I wanted the beams to cut through the fog and warn the player that the train was approaching. In the first version, the train was so bright that it looked like it was trying to create a second sunrise. The screen was overexposed, the fog turned completely white, and it was almost impossible to see the train itself. So I lowered the brightness, narrowed the beams. After that, the headlights started to look much more natural. One of the obstacles already had two warning lights on it. I made them flash one after the other. First the left one, then the right one, and then the left one again. In the end, the obstacle became much easier to see in the dark and the whole scene started to feel much more alive. Then I started working on the sound. For the footsteps on gravel, I created my own sound by combining several layers of noise with short impact sound. After that, I synced it with the exact moment the character's foot touched the ground. At first, the footsteps were so quiet that, with the rain in the background, it sounded like the character was silently gliding above the tracks. I increased the volume, and they finally became properly audible. I also created a separate layer sound for the rain. Inside the tunnel, it becomes quieter and more muffled. It creates the feeling that you are hearing the rain through the roof. It's a small detail, but things like this make a huge difference to the atmosphere. At first, I decided to create all the train sounds myself too. A separate engine rumble, the sound of the wheels, and the horn. On paper, the idea seemed fine. In practice, the wheels sounded like someone was running extremely fast nearby. The horn sounded more like an electronic siren, and the engine was so quiet that the rain completely denied its existence. So I deleted those sounds and used real recordings instead. One short looping file for the sound of the moving train, which plays while the train is active, and the separate longer horn sound. Both sounds are attached directly to the train, so at first you can barely hear it somewhere ahead. Then the rumble gets louder, the lights appear through the fog, the horn sounds, and the train rushes past the player. After that, the train finally stopped feeling like just a moving 3D model and started feeling like an actual heavy object. For almost the entire development process, each tile could only contain one obstacle. It could be a block, a jump barrier, a slight obstacle, or a train. That was enough for testing the mechanics. But in the final version, the game felt way too calm. The player will see one obstacle, switch lanes, and then spend the next few seconds running down an empty track. So after finishing the sound design, I went back to the generation system. Before that, the different obstacle types were placed at different points along the tile. The basic block was closer to the beginning, the jump barrier was farther ahead, and the slight obstacle was placed at another position entirely. I moved all of them to the same point along the tile, so they became different options for a single row of obstacles. I kept the chain and the passenger cars separate, because they are much larger and used their own logic. Then I rebuilt the activation system so that several obstacles could appear on the same tile at once, but at least one lane always had to remain open. Otherwise, it would not be a challenge, it would just be a pre-programmed game over. After that, the final run became much more intense. Now the player actually has to keep switching lanes, jumping and sliding. Near the very end, I finally returned to the slide animation. The mechanic itself has been working for a long time, but the character still just snapped into a crouched position. I found separate animation made for a compatible character and connected it to the existing slide mechanic. At first, the character still moved slightly forward, and when I enabled the movement built into the animation, he stopped moving completely during the slide. And after a few adjustments, I managed to separate the two properly. The game continues moving the character forward while the animation only controls the position of the body. During the slide, the camera also moves down slightly with the character. At first, I wanted to remove that, but then I decided to keep it. It makes the movement feel a little more dynamic. In the end, after 1 week, I had a working subway surface prototype built in Unreal Engine 5. The character runs forward automatically, he can switch between 3 lanes, jump, slide, and collect coins. A guard chases him from behind. Ahead, different obstacles appear, including barriers and moving trains. The level endlessly uses the same track sections. There is a start menu, a HUD, a distance counter, collected coins, a final score, and a game over screen. And all of this takes place at night, in heavy rain and thick fog. The train headlights shine through the fog, the warning lights flash, the raindrops disappear inside the tunnel, and the sound of the rain changes. And you can hear the trains before they fully emerge from the darkness. Of course, this is nowhere near a complete version of Subway Surfers. There's no shop, no dozens of characters, no hoverboards, no power-ups, no missions, no different cities, and none of the other content from the original game. But that was never the goal. I wanted to take the main mechanics and see what they would look like in a modern game engine. And the result turned out a little darker than I originally planned. The original Subway Surfers is a bright, cartoony game where the character runs away from a guard through the sunny city. In my version, he runs through railway tunnels at night in the middle of a storm, while trains emerge from the fog and head straight toward him. And that's the end of my Subway Surfers experiment. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know in the comments which game I should try to recreate next. Just please, don't suggest another game with endless level generation. After Minecraft and this project, I am already starting to see tiles in my dreams. The project built and source code will be available on my Patreon, as usual. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.